Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel, Minimum Player Count. I'm Stephanie and welcome to this Kickstarter preview video of Mob. This is a two-player game by Steve Finn and it is published by TGG Games. Now without further ado, let's look at what makes Mob so great. Okay. So the game that we're looking at today is a prototype copy, so some components are subject to change. I do know that I have a quadruple fold board here and they're going to be changing it into a trifold, so that should be better. I believe the gold foil is going to be staying, but there should be some upgrades possibly to the chips and also to the crates that I'll be explaining to you. So how to win this game. Whoever ends with the most crates wins the game after 3 rounds. If there is a tie, whoever has a DA marker on their side is the one who loses. You want the DA marker on the opposite side because that means that the DA is investigating that person. So when you start this game, you get these 2 dice, the black and the white. Each of you will roll, and whoever has the most accumulative number is the starting player. Now when the starting player goes, they will roll the 2 dice, and in this case, I got 3 white and 3 black. So on this board, I'm gonna explain something to you really quickly. When you start at the Bronx has a black 1, and then you go down to Harlem, it's a black 2, Hell's Kitchen's a black 3, and then Chinatown's a white 3, Little Italy is a white 2, and Bronx is a white 1. What that means is those are locations corresponding to the number that is rolled on the die. So whenever you roll a die, it's either the location and the amount of henchmen that you can place. So it's either or. So if you decide that you want to go to the black 3 location, you can place up to 3 henchmen based off of what I just rolled. If you decide the opposite, that you want to go to the white 3 location, you can place up to 3 henchmen based on the dice that I roll. Now again, if you roll it again and say we'll have a different number here, let's say it's a 2 white, so if you go to the 2 white location and you have a 1, that only means that you can add 1 henchman to that location. Again, a black 1, you can add 2 because of the dice that you rolled. So the cumulative dice that you have here is going to help you decide on where you're going to be placing these henchmen. Now henchmen are placed into each location on the card shown on the board. Now you can only place up to 3 henchmen on a single location. Now when you roll the die, you can decide that you want to place henchmen or that you do not want to place henchmen. But the card can only hold a capacity of up to 3 henchmen. So if you already have henchmen at that location of 3, then you cannot add any more to that location. Now once you've decided where you want to be placing your henchmen, you will then look at the action board. And so I'm going to be covering the actions that are available on this board from left to right. So on the DA track, which is on the top, what's important, like I said, is you want the DA to be on the opposite side because that means that the DA is investigating that person and that gives you bonuses. Now, as you're going through the DA track, every time you move your DA marker here, at the end of the round, you're able to collect that bonus. Now, you have 3 rounds for this game to play and try to collect as many crates as possible. One other thing I want to talk about before we get into the action board is these mole poker chips that you have. Now each person will collect a color, and so with those colors they'll collect up to 20 of their color of their henchmen here. There are some that are 3 henchmen and some that are 1 henchman. So you will collect up to 20 in any combination that you like, and you collect these poker chips. Now these poker chips have numbers on them. There's 3s, 2s, and 1s. And what they do, it's like a secret number of henchmen that are at that location to give you bonuses. So when it comes to the end of the game, you'll reveal your mold chips and you'll be placing those extra henchmen in those locations so you can have a more fighting chance. But at the same time, you don't know what your opponent has placed in that area either, so you're kind of trying to gamble as to if you think you're gonna win a location or not. Moving back to the action board. The action board here, like I said, the DA track, we're gonna start from the DA right in the middle, and then I'm gonna move to the right here. So The first action that's available on each side is you're able to reveal a mole chip. Now, what that means is you'll pick one of your opponent's mole chips and they will show that mole chip, and then they have to place that amount of henchmen in that location. You then know how many they have in that location, which gives you an advantage. But that is only at the end of the round that you start getting these benefits. Now, if you move it one more over, you still get the added benefit from each side, which is you're able to reveal a mole chip, but you're also able to add a crate to the location. So that is also very cool. The last action that is available to each person is, if you're able to get all the way to the end, you're able to reveal a mole chip, and you're also able to steal a crate. What that means is you're gonna take a crate from a location and add it to your inventory. In this game, you have two actions. Your first action is, of course, you're rolling the die and you're figuring out if you're going to be placing any henchmen in those locations. That is optional to place a henchman in the location if you decide to, but it is mandatory that you do complete an action on the action board. So when you have finished your first action available, you will then move to the action board and decide what you want to do. Now I'm going to go down from top to bottom and then we'll go to the right here. So this action is allowing you to move henchmen from one card to another. So if there's a location that you say that you want more henchmen in that location, you can do that. All of these locations will tell you what cost. So in this case, the first action is 1 henchman, which is just the same on every one of these. You have to put one of your henchmen out of your supply to the board. And then the second one is 2 henchmen, which is the same for all of them, except this one is allowing you to add a crate to a location. And some of them will give you bonus actions, like this one is allowing a shootout, which I will go over at the end once I finish all of these available actions. So again, the first one is moving cars. The second one is moving your henchmen out of the cars to location. Why that is important is because when you're in a car, what the game is thinking is that your henchmen are driving or moving to that location. So they're not actually there, meaning that they are available to be shot at. So if your opponent decides that they want to do a shootout to your henchmen that are in the car, and if they hit them, that can be critical to your game. Now, if they are out of the car with this action of moving them out to the location, those henchmen just stay there until the end of the round and you figure out who has majority. Okay, the next one is moving from cars and then moving out to location. So you do have to do it in this order. If you want to move your henchmen, you have to move them from one car to another and then move them out into that location. Next one we're going to be looking at is, this one is allowing you to move one of your mole chips from one location to another. So if you decide you want to have more henchmen in one location, or you decide that you want to give up on a location, that is a very good move for you. The next one is moving crates from one location to another, because as you know, if you own a majority of a location, you'll start getting those crates at the end of the game. And so maybe you decide, oh, I want to take a crate from an opponent's location so that I have more crates in my location. The last one is moving the DA track, which I went over before. It's that track right there, and you always want it to be closer to your opponent's side than to your side, because that means that you have the DA in your pocket and they're investigating your opponent. So like I said, I would be covering some other actions. So if you see a gun on the board, gun means a shootout, meaning that you're able to roll the dice that you have. So you decide on either if you're rolling the white die or the black. So, and if my enemy has more white henchmen and the white locations, I would roll the white die and say, okay, I got area 3. And if he has henchmen in that location in the car, that means I shot them and they are no longer in the game. The other action you'll see is the crate with an arrow down. That means adding a crate to the location. The other icon that you will see is the DA, which is face of the DA with arrows, meaning that you move the DA track. And one of the last ones that you'll see is the mole token, which is revealing a mole token. So in the game, you're really just trying to go back and forth, trying to figure out based off of luck of what you're actually, rolling and based off of what your opponent's doing, trying to reveal their tokens and trying to be strategic enough to actually have enough people, henchmen, in your location, and also making sure that they don't reveal too many of your mole tokens, because those are kind of like your ace up your sleeve, trying to make sure that they don't know what you're doing. This game is very competitive. When I was playing this, I was very stressed because it was so back and forth. We were just going back and forth, moving the DA track, and you know, one of us was trying to shoot the other, and we were getting nervous when they roll the die, like if they're gonna actually hit you or not. And you're trying to make sure that your henchmen don't stay in those cars, because you know they're sitting ducks if they're in the car, and you want to get them out to the location. But you have to be strategic on what you actually place on the action board, because you know the higher you go means more henchmen that you'll actually no longer have for your turn for that round. Now, at the end of the round, after everyone has placed all their henchmen, now in some cases, one person will place all their henchmen before the other, meaning that that one person who still has henchmen will keep playing as normal until they no longer have any henchmen. At the end of the round, you'll start going off of majority. So saying I have 2 henchmen in one location and my opponent has 2 henchmen, well, that is equal, so nobody is technically owning that location. Now, in the same thing, if somebody has 3 and another person has 2, 2 of my people will go away, 2 of their people will go away, 1 of them will stay, meaning that that person now has kind of like a presence in that area. It doesn't necessarily mean majority or that that person's gonna be winning it. It just means in that round they have 1 more person that they'll be carrying over into the next round, so that when you now collect your 20 new henchmen from the beginning of the second round, you'll have 1 extra person that we placed in that area, which gives you a little bit more of an advantage. So you're really trying to place more henchmen in a location than your opponent, but trying not to lose them at the same time. It is a very strategic game and is very deceptive by looking at this game thinking, okay, this doesn't seem like it's too hard, but when you're playing just one-on-one and you're going back and forth and they're doing actions that you're like, please don't do that, it's such a good game. I really, really enjoy this game by Steve Finn. I mean, I've played some games by Steve Finn before, but I love this game. It has a great theme and the artwork on this game is amazing. I just love how each location is different and the gold foil on the board is just beautiful. It can be sometimes hard to read with the gold foil, but I think it adds that little bit of mob kind of essence to it, of, you know, the gold with the crates and everything, that this game is just great. Now, that I've said everything I had to say and I'm out of energy. I hope you guys enjoyed this Kickstarter preview of Mob. If you have any questions about the game, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be putting the Kickstarter preview link in the description below. Also, the Kickstarter page, when it comes up, will be in the description below. So questions, comments, concerns, any opinions that you want of me, feel free to ask me in the comments. Again, I love hearing from you guys. Make sure to share my video, share this video with other friends to let them know that this game is gonna be coming out on Kickstarter soon. Super exciting. Subscribe, like, comment. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time. You're gonna be sleeping with the fishes. hang on. I'm gonna be better. Gonna be sleeping with the fishes. You talk to me? I don't have any razor blades. It's supposed to be like, you know, Peaky Blinders, have razor blades in here. Talking to me? I should bring the cat in here. Have more of my. Can you grab the cat? Just leave it. Every mobster needs her ally. What?
She can't even speak. Oh.
It's
okay. It's okay.
I'm official now. Look. She's so cute. Look at her little belly. I can't be a bad mobster with her around.
I'm just so tired. You woke me up for this?
I'm sorry. I wanted you in here. Here you go. You want to be on the table? Wow, she's not doing anything. Papa, why are you so tired? What have you been were sleeping. Her, like, you're so flexible though. Like her butt's like in her face. All right. See you next time.